Instead of bias tape for finishing your seams, use seam binding. Seam binding is a thin but super strong ribbon-like material made out of rayon, and it doesn't fray on the edges. And it takes a curve just as well as bias tape. It's also the perfect way to avoid adding additional bulk on bulky fabric seams. Let's learn how to use your Janome to apply it. There's two different methods, but my preferred method is to pre-iron the seam binding in half. So you fold it in half down the center and press it with your iron at a medium heat. Next, place your seam at the center of the fold of the seam binding. Next, stitch the seam binding down, trying to get as close to the edge of the seam binding as possible. I like to use my professional foot here because I feel like I can see my work better. For the other method, first, place the fabric seam halfway through the seam binding and then stitch that down once. In this method, we'll stitch the seam binding twice. Next, take it through the machine again and carefully by hand folding it in half and stitching the other half down, completely concealing the raw seam. This gives you a result with 2 stitch lines on one side, so I don't like it as much as the other method. But either way, all of the raw edges on your seam will be concealed without adding any bulk to the fabric. Let me know if you've used seam binding before or if this is the first time you're hearing of it. Happy sewing!